Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
State investigators say a Rapid City police officer was justified in shooting a man last month in a neighborhood that's been riddled with crime. The report includes pictures from an officer's body camera. In this one, the officer is reportedly trying to use a taser on Ira Wright, but it didn't work. If you look closely, you can see a revolver in Wright's right hand.
The report also includes this picture inside a stairwell. It's hard to see, but investigators say Wright was pointing the gun toward the officer. The officer reportedly heard a click and thought Wright had pulled the trigger, so the officer started firing. Test results showed Wright had meth and marijuana in his system. A Wagner man who's been behind bars since he was 19 years old went in front of the South Dakota Board of Pardons and Paroles yesterday to plead his case for commutation. In 1981, Roscoe Primo was sentenced to life in prison without parole for the murder of Rodney Provost.
A recommendation for his commutation was sent to the governor's desk once before, but it was denied by then-Governor Dennis Daugaard in 2012. Now he's getting the chance again at the parole board, as the parole board voted 8-1 to send a new recommendation to Governor Kristi Noem's desk. If approved, he would be up for parole right away. A Howard man is behind bars this morning following a Valentine's Day pursuit that went through 2 counties. Madison police say officers were called to a business in the 100 block of North Egan Avenue for someone threatening people with a knife. The subject left and police found him at the intersection of Egan and Center Street.
Authorities tried to stop the vehicle, but he kept going. Officers pursued 60-year-old Brian Quinlan to Howard. He was arrested near his home with the help of the Minor and Lake County Sheriff's offices. He is facing multiple charges, including aggravated assault and reckless driving. Officials in western South Dakota are reminding people that just because it's winter doesn't mean fires can't happen. The Rockerville Volunteer Fire Department says crews were called to an area on South Highway 16 Thursday morning for a grass fire. Firefighters arriving on scene found a few people trying to put out the flames.
The U.S. Forest Service was able to stop the fire from spreading to a nearby drainage full of trees and pine needles. A state investigator is looking into what sparked the fire.
Turning to weather now with meteorologist Brian Karstens. The warmer temps are back, but it looks like there's active weather ahead, Brian.
Yes, indeed. Next week is going to be a whole new story to tell you about. But today and the next couple days looking pretty good. Let's get into Futurecast. And hour by hour, we're going to warm up out of the single digits this morning in our eastern counties and say hello to 50-degree weather today for Pierre and Rapid City. Sioux Falls area should be able to get to freezing. I'm expecting mid-30s in Aberdeen. Not quite as chilly tonight. Looks like lows will drop back into the teens for eastern KELOLAND and 20s for much of the west and central. And tomorrow, another day of 40s and 50s in western South Dakota, just some passing high clouds. Good weather day. Next week, well, lots to say about that. And stay with us. We'll have more coverage on that subject in just a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Brian. After 6 weeks and tens of thousands of loads of snow, crews are not done cleaning up after the early January storm that dumped a lot of snow on Sioux Falls.
Street Operations Manager Dustin Hansen says crews have hauled 22,000 loads this winter and continue to pick up snow and clean storm drains.
We always come into winter kind of prepared for anything, but to have that much snow over that short a period of time and then just back-to-back events and constantly being here, it's been a stressor on a lot of us, but we're still coming to work, we're still got smiles on our face, and we're keeping positive attitudes, so we can't wait for spring.
Hansen says that year to date the department has spent a little more than half the $10 million budget for the winter season. A Sioux Falls teenager has made a remarkable recovery considering where he was just a short time ago.
Matthew Schulte was in a bad car crash in November that left him with a brain injury and broken ribs. But nevertheless, he's still set to perform in an American Choral Directors Association's National Honor Choir in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Just remember, anything's possible through the power of prayer.
The 16-year-old attends O'Gorman High School. He describes singing as sort of a lifestyle for him. Check out this report on KELOLAND.com to hear that singing voice.
Two northeastern South Dakota communities came together last night to help raise money for a student battling two types of leukemia. It was a Strand Strong night to raise awareness and help Sisseton sophomore Josiah Strand. It wasn't just his own school helping. Even the opponent, Florence Henry, raised over $2,800 for the family.
It's wonderful to see everybody come together. I mean, the way the school came together today, I was just overwhelmed by seeing a sea of orange. It was great to see that. And it is overwhelming to see the amount of support that's here tonight at the game as well. Even from the Florence Henry standpoint, the orange that's out there just shows that people are just good and they just want to come out and support whatever they can.
Josiah's mom says it's been a roller coaster since the diagnosis and that he will be starting his third round of chemo on Monday. She added that the communities have been so supportive and she wasn't expecting a night quite like this. Altogether, they raised over $5,000. That is a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
Okay, weather-wise, as we unpack the forecast, first of all, we are under the influence this weekend of mild Pacific air for the most part. This comes in, rolls out of the northwest. Pretty straightforward outlook, and I think we can probably hold on to some of these talking points at least into Monday, although Monday's influence will be the first system that's going to kind of come off of this piece of cold, which, by the way, the installment of that probably starting to affect us on Tuesday. So once we get to that point on the calendar, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, that's all a period of time where the weather's going to start to shake things up a lot. The reason behind that is the assumption of cold air descending into the plains. This will govern the storm tracks, the subsequent snow that's going to result. The bigger the clash on temperatures, the more wind we're going to have. So I can start accumulating a long list of items that we're going to be dealing with next week. And this is quite the battle zone, isn't it? If this comes to pass, where you got temperatures in Rapid City at least 20 to 30 below normal, Kansas City probably plus 10, plus 20 above normal. Gulf of Mexico, humid weather, severe weather south. It all looks to me like a very active weather week is coming our direction. Now, already we're getting a strip of snow painted on the European model. Typically at this point in a forecast, we don't put any numbers out. I don't really do that because those things are obviously subject to change. But the foundational element is it's going to snow next week, and the odds of even getting 3 inches of snow, already the numbers are in the 90% range. So that tells us we're going to have to be ready for the change that's coming. High probability. Even the probability of all of that snow chance adding up to 6 inches is pretty high range already. And that's the reason I'm showing you this, to kind of get you thinking about next week and the weather that's coming. Now, on the maps, you can see the first installment of that chance of snow coming into Montana with the cold. There's Monday. There's also another piece that comes through North Dakota. The thing about that is that drags in that front. We could actually get one more pretty decent day of melting. Sioux Falls might even surprise us and get into at least the upper 30s. Here's the snow on Tuesday. It starts to sneak in here, but by Wednesday, quite an interesting map. You've got snow in the Rockies here. You got an upper level low in the Pacific Northwest. Then we have this battle zone across the midsection of the country, which basically erupts into a widespread snow in the northern plains, rain to the south, and the whole thing works its way through, probably ending on Thursday. So just keep in mind that after that, too, it's going to be quite a bit colder to finish up next week. So I think we've kind of set the tone there, haven't we? The winter is roaring back. 30s today east. We have 50s in the west. Our 7-day forecast. A couple of notable items here. Number one, your chance of snow is already 60 to 70% on days 6 and 7. Temperatures are falling through the teens, which means the snow will be very light and fluffy, and there'll be wind. So now I've already painted a picture in your mind of what that's going to look like. And Aberdeen, pretty likely too, we're going to pick up some snow. Now the determinations on where all the heavier bands are going to be, still a lot of figuring to do on that subject. But I think there'll be snow around, and it will be colder. It'll be in the single digits as we get into the middle part of next week. We might even have to talk about highs of 0 at some point. Pierre looking cold too. Snow chances are coming right in line here. I think that this is going to be a statewide issue, or at least a region-wide issue. So Rapid City also getting quite a bit colder by day number 7. Check out more details. We've got a comprehensive coverage of this developing weather online at KELOLAND.com.